Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkoviak, and I want to take a minute and explain a few things about some river scouting here. What I got today is going out testing out my new ladder rack system that I just bought here to carry my canoe. That's my little 11.5 footer Guide 119 Old Town canoe, weighs 47 pounds. I love that canoe. But testing out that rack and seeing how things are. But today I'm going out. I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to go scout. Go scout a stretch of this river down here, and we are going to paddle down. We're going to actually go downstream about 2 miles, and then when we get down there, we got a spot where we're going to break off and we're going to head up. That's all. That whole side of it it's all public in here, but this is easy. This side's easy access from a road. Down when we get down this river and we get on the other side, that side over there is all landlocked by private land on a road about 1.5 miles across. And basically there's a section in there that's about a half-mile hike in from once I get to this spot on the river. It's a half-mile hike in, and I got a huge zone in there. Got marsh in there, it looks like. I got a little pond or a lake, a couple acre-sized lake in there. Some cattails, a lot of transition line, a lot of stuff in there. It's going to be pretty thick and nasty. But that's where I'm going to go take a look at and scout it out today. And so I'm pretty fired up to go check it out. But it's hot. It's 84 degrees. It's going to be miserable as can be in the woods, as it always is, this time of year. But, yep, we're going to give her a whirl. But that's that ladder rack and that canoe, and works like a champ. And when you have one that sticks out this far, make sure you always pay attention to where it is, because if you notice on that one, right there is now dented a little bit, because when I came into here, I wasn't paying attention. And as you can see, this tree that leaned over right here, I ended up clipping that tree right there. So when you're using something like this, make sure you definitely pay attention to what's out there, because like I said, I've had the rack on there now for a total of about 1.5 hours. I put it on this morning and just first time out with it, and they stick out far enough that she'll grab your attention, so make sure you're paying attention to it. So all right, I'm gonna take you along with me. We're gonna see what we find out there. Day on the river, like I said, it's just hot, but sure is a very pretty day to be cruising out here and checking some of this kind of stuff out. Sure is a pretty river. All right, we are here. We're heading up that way 1/2 mile. Actually, that way, I lied. That way 1/2 mile up in there, and then we should get to some pretty good area. So I'm leaving the boat right here, kind of pulled it off the river and kind of tucked it in here a little bit. Hopefully nobody sees it if anybody comes down here. I don't expect any problems, but it is July, so there are probably some canoers coming by. But that's where we're heading to. I'll show you what we find when we get there. I officially have made it from the river. I'm probably, I don't know, I'm only probably 600 yards from the river, but that river is down there, and there's actually a lot of good deer trails on this hill coming up. You can see it drop off right here where it drops down over there, and there's a ton of these. You can see I'm on one right here where it runs right down through here. There's a bunch of these along this hill in here, but that nasty as it could possibly be. That is just swamp muck, and oh my god, it's like knee deep in spots. You got to be careful where you're walking, and plant your foot on every stick and thing you can find. That was 500 yards of pure misery up and down over stuff. I got to find another way around there, because trying to come through that with a pack and stands and all that stuff won't happen. So before I leave here, I'm going to figure out another way so I don't have to come up through this. But that was a straight beeline. Now this here, we finally hit the hardwoods, and I'm heading across this to go check out what's over there by that that little hidden lake and all the marsh and everything that's around there. But man, that was absolutely miserable. I mean, just simply miserable. And it would be any time of the year too. So like I said, I think when I leave, I'm going to work my way this way, catch the river, and work my way back up or something like that. But I'm not going through that mess again. That hidden lake right out here, pretty open right on this side, which was what I expected it to be. I'm going to check that point out there, that point out there. There's another spot over here and one more over there. But already you can see right here along the edge of this, right on the edge, you can see that trail runs right up through here. Pretty thick in there, not bad. They'll definitely use that too. This is probably more of a nighttime kind of cruising trail. I wouldn't hunt it, but it's showing me that there's a lot of sign around here as far as deer go. So we're going to keep scouting and see what we find. Made it back to one of the points here. I'm just starting to hit the point. It's a pretty interesting little area here, but as you can see, real thick and nasty. Not nasty, but over the hill it's pretty nasty. But little strip of poplars right in through here. Then here we have a marsh. This is part of that lake that you guys saw that I was wraps way up around there, back on that point where I came into. And back here's what I want to look at, because we have an island out here, and we have another island out here. point that comes across to it right over here. But knowing I was getting close to it, I started on this edge back here. I got one there, another one there, another one of these right here. See, we got these trails that come right out through here, right in the cattails, right off that island. They come right up through here, go right here, just like that. And so we're starting to find good sign. Know that deer will be bedding on these islands and this island here. That's pretty much a given. They're going to be there. So I'm not going to fight my way out there, and I don't have the right boots, and I'm just not in the mood to deal with it. So, but I know they're out there. I know there's bedding out there, and I know there's bedding on both of them. I'm willing to risk it based on the sign that I'm seeing. So we're going to finish this out and work it around and see what other things I find. What my intentions are is finding enough of these trails that come out of these to merge together enough to give me shooting for the most of them I can for where I think they're going to come in at. And I know there's an intersection trail right here, transition line, that runs right on the edge of these trees, right here on the edge, just like that. There's a good intersection or transition zone trail that runs across around the edge of this. So if I can find where these come out and merge up with that transition line, sorry, I'm shaking a lot. I'm killing a lot of bugs. My bug spray's pretty much sweated off, and flies are eating me here. But that's what I'm looking for. So we'll keep checking here. We're coming in here. That's still that island right out there, right there. I was just over there on the other side of these cattails, is where I just stopped with you a few minutes ago, and this is the spot I saw on the map. Was a major trail that comes from that island all the way across right over here. This is the spot that grabbed most of my attention. I knew there'd be satellite ones, but here's where I was excited. Now the problem, this is that trail right here, okay? As you can see, this is that trail that runs right out through there. It's deep right there. I'm not going in there. I know what caused this, and I know what's down there. It'll go over my boots. But this is that trail out of here. Now, I'm not saying deer won't use this, but this is caused by beaver. We have beaver chewings right here. That's a beaver mound right there. That's where they do that. They deposit their castor, that kind of stuff. But that's beaver. And beaver over there. This is beaver that's making this right here. So I'm not saying deer don't use it, and I'm not saying it's not great, but I'm saying it's mostly beaver activity there. But we do have over here, running right up next to it right here, you can see this trail that runs right through here. This is a deer trail. Parallels right, goes right up around this thing. That's still that beaver cut that goes up through there. But this is actually deer trail that goes right up around there. So we're going to continue around and see where we're going. But this is a disappointment for me. This is a bummer. I am now probably close to 3/4 of a mile from the river through some of the nastiest stuff I've ever been at. I mean, it's taken me 2.5 hours to get to this point. And this was where my highest hopes were right here. Now, I'm finding good stuff. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but this bums me out. This was one of my highlight spots that I was hoping to be able to make work. Now, like I said, I know they're still using it, but they're not. This was what my hopes were, and they're not. Now they just kind of been crushed a little bit. So we're going to keep looking for better. Well, I made it a little bit. You can see I'm a little higher up here. I'll explain why here, but there was that point I was on where it comes out to these islands that are out here. Wraps back around. I came around this bowl in here, and lo and behold, somebody has a tree stand, which I am standing in here. They have a tree stand basically set up right where the point of this island comes in, and I'm assuming it's a gun hunter because of the fact that there's really not much is going to happen right here in this particular spot right here. It's pretty open. It's not much. They're going to move around that outer edge. This is just open right in here with ferns, and then here, there's not much activity right here. There's one little trail, but I'm assuming he's a gun hunter just because of the position of the stands, the way he's got the rests here. I'm expecting he plans on being able to shoot out to that point across there, which is only about probably 100 yards. Anything that comes across here and across this point, he's planning on gun hunting from this spot. That's my assumption. The stand's been here for probably a couple of years. The straps are like wedged into the tree. The sticks are actually grown into the tree, all this stuff. So it's been here for a while, and I don't know if he's been here a lot. But somebody found it, and most likely I'll bet it's one of these guys that came in from the private land. Back this way, we're only probably 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile to the backside of, about 3/4 of a mile to the back end of private property, and about a mile away to a road that's out there, a little private road, but it's all private land along that whole entire road that runs all the way back there on the back side of this. And I'll bet it's one of those guys that live back there that came in here, found this bog, and started setting up in here for gun season. That's my assumption. It's not bothering me any. I would not hunt this particular spot spot here anyway, and being a bow hunter, all I need is 20 yards on each side of me. This guy I don't think is affecting me any. That point that's over there does have my attention. That's where we first stopped at. I don't know how much attention I'll give it knowing he's here, but possibly. I may use him as a blocker over here if he does hunt it, but again, I think it's gun season only. But that point, let me get down lower in here, hang on. That point there is the main one, is a good one I want to look at. And you can see out there that that's not cattail out there. That's all tag elder, dogwood, all that kind of stuff, that real thick brushy stuff. That's where I think they're going to bed in, is right off of that point, right into this stuff right in here. And so I want to go take a look at that point, and then after I do that, I'm going to swing myself all the way back around, and there's some spots on the other side I want to check. But it just goes to show you, after all that, I am 2.5 hours into this, between canoeing down a river, hiking my way in here, through the swamp, through all this nasty stuff. I mean, this is, if I hunt this spot, this is a spot that I'll come in and hunt for an entire day. I'll come in the morning and I won't leave until after dark, and I'll just spend the whole day out here hunting, because it is such a pain to get to. But I mean, just look at that, how even doing that, you still run into people out here doing their thing, and just kind of low stand. I mean, he's probably only 10 feet, 8 feet in the air, not real high up. Good rifle shooting zone here, good rifle shooting zone there. I think that's what he is probably a rifle hunter. He's even got some of that stuff trimmed out right up here so that he can get that gun through there and shoot that way. So I mean, probably a good stand for a rifle hunter. But it just goes to show you, even when you think you're a million miles from somebody, or from nowhere, somebody always finds a way to end up back there somehow. Like I said, transition line trails are always solid. That's that marsh right out here. That's where that marsh is, and pretty open right here. That island's back that way, so not much anything going on here. But you can see here, this transition line trails right here. You can see this one I'm following right here like this. I mean, they're pretty much a given. They're a set in stone, pretty much unfailing given. That if there's going to be cover there, there's going to be a transition line trail that runs right through that cover and parallels that stuff. It's not out there where it's open. There might be one there, but that'll be a nighttime trail. But so it's not, one's worthless. But where the thick stuff is where the transition trail is. If you can find a spot where the thick stuff butts up tight to that obstacle or that cattail marsh, that transition line becomes a great spot. Then if you can find where they come out of the marsh and cross or come to that transition trail, gold mine spot, in my opinion, to hunt deer. Again, not specifically one buck, but to get good odds at killing deer. So we're going to take this transition line around, all the way around to that point, and just watch for anything crossing across here. If I see something cross towards the marsh, a trail, I may go check it out down there. But we're going to follow this around and see what we find over there. That dude with the tree stand got his ass in here, so all the respect I was giving him as far as hiking back into this place and setting up, I'm kind of taken back, because he made himself a road. This is probably, again, this road, it obviously doesn't get used very often, but I'll bet this road goes directly back to private property back there. And one of those guys kicked it off the back of their property and uses it to come back in here to hunt. I'm willing to bet that's what it is, because like I said, it's not that far. Or maybe he's using it with a four-wheeler. Maybe it was a logging road at one time, I don't know. But there's no access to this anywhere, anyhow, except for at private property back there. So that's how this guy got himself into this spot. And what a bummer, but go figure. But again, I think it's still got a lot of potential, especially up on that front side where I walked in at, which I will scout after I get to this point. I want to check this point more than anything, and then I'm going to head back up and around the other side. But this is how this dude's getting in here. There, I haven't quite made it to the end, but I did notice this right there. Another stand. And I am willing to bet that this one is used pretty often, probably. I'm guessing it doesn't look that old. Yeah, just go figure. This is probably those public land, or those private land guys again back here. We are on public land, and they actually illegally cut a road, or made a road, to get back here from their property. You know, I guess it happens everywhere, but it pisses you off, you know. You do everything you can to access this stuff legally and get into these places the right way, and you got people that do this and just get away with it, you know. And they I mean, it's got to stand in a pretty decent spot, especially for a rifle hunter. Any deer that comes out of here, out of this area, and comes up through here that he wants to kill, he can kill with a rifle. This is open. And, you know, that's that point out here with good bedding area and a good crossover to there. I may still look at it, because I might come in here and bow hunt it one time just to see, but it just goes to show you, I'm guessing again that that's probably rifle stand. That would be my assumption, because the trails aren't right here. The trails are over there on that edge and over there and over there on that edge. There's actually no trails running up through the middle of this thing. So if he was, he'd only put it there if he was a rifle hunter. Again, that's what I'm guessing, but what a bummer. I mean, like I said, you hike all the way back in here and go through all this trouble, and that's the crap you run into. People that could drive a road, which that road is probably 250 yards that way. A little road, and it runs right back. It runs back over that way, right back to the public or private property. That's half mile over there. You drove it right in and set it up right there. Go figure. But like I said, it's probably not going to affect me. But it's interesting just to see what people are capable of doing and how they break the law to do it. Popped out here a little further to show you so you can see it. That marsh, that lake is running right here. That swamp lake, and there's a finger right here that runs back through it. Okay, this timber finger, which you'll see better here. I'm on an actual transition trail here. You can see that runs right along here. Like I said, this is probably right now while the ferns are up, but there are one over there that drops in, another one here. There's one that goes right through there. Just stepped in that little dude right there. Almost took my foot off. But right there's another one. You can see it drop in over there. And there's another one. You may not see it from up here, but there's an old rub on that tree, I think. And then there's another one. It's right over here that comes up this way, right through there. They get thicker as they get down there. And I'm staying up here, though, so you can see where that point is. Again, I'm right on this transition line. 5 minutes ago, I just jumped 3 deer bedded right over there. And there's another one that runs right down through here. Goes right into that point. And then right over here, we're still on this little transition trail here. There's what appears to me to be an old scrape. I could be wrong, but that to me looks like an old scrape. Licking branch right there. I'm going to guess and say that that's an old scrape. Right here, you can see that point out there where that pine is, running out there like that. And there's another trail that drops in right down here by this tree and cuts across that and heads out to there. And there's another one somewhere right up here that goes right on the other, right down in here and cuts over towards that pine tree. So that whole point so far has been the best thing I've found here. Okay, that whole extension point that runs out there, I don't know how far it goes yet. I'm not sure. I'm working my way around this, and we'll cut over to the front when I get there. But so far, this spot over here where I can access and shoot both sides, that point is narrow enough that I can be on that point somewhere right in here and shoot both sides of the transition line where they're not coming in and catch them. So that right there, gold mine. That makes it worthwhile. And I'm about half a mile away from where I saw those people, those 2 stands, and no activity since then. I'm back down here on the end by closest to the river, and I have no sign of anybody down here. So that's got me that's pretty promising. I'm excited. That spot right there might be enough to make me come back here. Well, I'm on my way back, paddling back right now. I'm about probably halfway back upriver. Just pulled in to take a break and have a little bit of water. It's getting pretty, like I said, it's hot, and it's all upstream all the way for a while. So I've been getting kind of my butt beat, so taking a break. But that area turned out to be pretty decent. Definitely not horrible. I don't like the fact that those other guys were there, but I do give them credit because they were in the right place. I mean, like I said, I assume rifle hunters, but man, they picked the spots that I was looking to go to, so they're definitely doing good. So I probably won't go back there and won't ruin that for them, just in case they are bow hunting, maybe, but I doubt that I'll actually go back in there. I did find that point on the front that I showed you. I found that spot earlier before where that guy was, about 250 yards away from him, that I showed you where they're coming through the cattails, which is good. And then there's another spot that I found. It was further down the river, running low on camera battery on my phone battery, and which is how I'm recording this. And so I didn't want to go through that one and record it, so I figured I'd just wait so I had enough battery to kind of summarize this when it was over. But good area, a lot of work. I probably won't come into this until late season, just because it is so much work getting back in here. I don't want to be sweating in October and 80 degrees, so I'll probably I'm never really here in Michigan or in a rut. I'm always in different states, so I'll probably save this spot and come back into it in December if I got a tag left, or if I don't have any tags left, I'll come back and scout it thoroughly, learn it real well when there's not so much greenery and ferns up. But it was a good day today. We learned a lot, found a lot of neat stuff, and I'm pretty excited. Plus got a little exercise in, so it's been really good. So there you go. That kind of has it for you. A little took you. This is a you know, day in the life of scouting kind of thing. This is what you do. You go find this stuff and see if it's going to work for you. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.